I did the whole service. It was at 8 o'clock at night. The vehicle wouldn't start. It was at a mechanic's house. Was that guy up to something? What happened? What the heck is going on? This is not fun. Hey, how's everyone doing? This is Oz with Oz Mechanics, and on today's video, we have this 2013 Cadillac SRX right next to me. So the issue with this Cadillac SRX, my customer took it to a shop that they were gonna do just an AC check. After the shop quoted him the AC parts and all that, he said, come pick up the vehicle. When they went to go pick it up, it did not start. After that, they put in so many parts. It's been about a month or two and they still haven't fixed it up. So how about in today's video, we try to see if we can get this vehicle running and give it back to the customer. Let's see what we can do. Let's go. All right, so we're inside the vehicle right now. And let me just see exactly what's going on. All right, let's go ahead and try to start this and see exactly what's going on. And nothing is going on. So let me just give you the backstory on this. This vehicle went to, the customer did say it was a shop. Later on, they told me it was at a mechanic's house, which I ended up finding out he was a motorcycle mechanic. He went ahead, tried to check out the AC. I don't know exactly what they were doing. He said after he checked it out, he was going to order some parts to just come pick up the vehicle. Once the customer went to go pick it up, that's where it just did not start. Customer did call me and they told me, you know, what happened. And I was like, look, I wouldn't say blame the mechanic or the technician who was working on this, because there's times that cars just mess up. Parts mess up or whatever. I remember that happened to me once. I had one vehicle that was a family friend. They drove the vehicle from North Carolina so the daughter was going to have this Cadillac. Ironic, Cadillac and Cadillac. I did the whole service, and then as soon as she was going to come and pick it up, it was at 8 o'clock at night, the vehicle wouldn't start. On this one, it's V8, and the coils are a pack of coils. It has 4 coils. So basically, one side was not working. It just messed up at that moment. My luck. Oh my God. My luck. But luckily it happened at my shop. She didn't question anything. She just said, Oz, replace it. We're going to pay you. And that's where we're at. So that's why I'm to the point where I don't want to, you know, just say, hey, you did this. That's why they brought it over here to me to test this out. Let's just see one thing. Let's go ahead and hook up our scan tool. Let's see exactly what's going on. So on these vehicles, what I like to do, I like to put it in service mode. And to put it in service mode, if you just press it once, this is what happens. You just get these little action, nothing really happens. So I turn it off and then I hold it down for 12 seconds. And then you're going to see what's going to happen in a second. All right, a lot better. You see all those lights right there? Let's get our scan tool right here. Get my top-down Phoenix Max. The customer did tell me that the mechanic did change out, I believe, the PCM, and if I'm not mistaken, I think the BCM. I did tell him to just put it back to normal, go back to stock. I'd rather just have it how it was whenever it messed up, so I didn't want brand new parts on it. And we're basically getting this vehicle the way it was. Ooh, no. 8 volts. Let me do this. I'm going to change the camera so you can see me, and then I'm going to start recording, and we're going to put a battery maintainer on this, okay? Because it's starting to act up. It's probably because of the low voltage. The computer is literally right here on the top. You got to be really careful. Some people, what they do, they get the computer and they accidentally touch, you know, ground it out. You just got to be kind of careful on that. Now we are at 13 volts. Sweet. Let's go inside. So let's turn on this Phoenix Max. One thing I told, so Jeff, you know Jeff the programmer Jeff, is whenever you do programming, first thing when you're programming or doing anything, I just always say rule number 1, get comfortable, because I feel like when you're comfortable, you're working perfect. This is not showing the VIN. Okay, we're just gonna do manual, and then we're gonna do 2013 SRX. Let's see what we can talk to. Let's see what we can do. See if he got somewhere, you know. Why did he change out the PCM? You know, what's going on? Or if I'm not mistaken, he said PCM and BCM. Why did they change that out? All right, let's do a high-speed scan. Right off the bat, as you can see, the ECM is not talking. TCM is talking. EBCM is talking. Now, let's go to report. Let's see what's doing what. Clearly see the ECM is grayed out. So right off the bat, TCM is saying, whoa, ECM is not talking. EBCM is saying invalid data received from the ECM, low voltage. Yeah, well, you saw 8 volts, all right. Lost communication, engine control module, system disabled, information stored. What we saw right here, we did see that the ECM is not programmed. She's grayed out. Let me go ahead and press it. Let's see what happens. Believe is this engine size, and no communication, dead. What can cause an ECM to die if everything else is pretty much communicating? The main modules are communicating. As we can see, we're looking at the CAN 6 and 14. What's in that vicinity? Was that guy up to something? What happened? Why, when he changed it out, like, what would you do at that moment? You know, would your main thing is to change out the ECM without doing tests? Did he do tests? I'm not too sure. But what I want to do is look at a wiring diagram, check out my powers and grounds, and go check those suckers out, and then go from there. How about we do that? I think the fuse box is just right there. Luckily, if I'm not mistaken, on this year, it tells you what's what. So let's see what we got. Let's go to the front of the vehicle. Let's see what we find out, and let's see what we get. Let's do it. Our fuse box is right here. And then we have some of these fuses over here. What I like to do, I want to test those out first. So right now what we're going to do is hook this up to our battery negative, and then we're going to touch just the positive. Now, just for a quick little test, because like I said, sometimes people do this where they accidentally touch the back of this. So what I'm going to do is touch on the other side of the fuse. There you go. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. Now what we can do is we have this right here. If we look at this fuse box cover, we can see that we have a ECM battery right there. It's number 1. TCM battery number 2. ECM run crank number 5. ECM power and TRN turn or something. I don't know. TCM run crank, RES run crank, BCM, EBCM. Is that it? Powertrain. All right, cool. So we have like 4 fuses that we can check. How about we start off with number 1, which is gonna be, so number 1 is gonna be here. Number 1 is gonna be ECM bat, 1 leg, 2 legs. Awesome. Now the TCM bat is gonna be number 2, which, well, 2 was talking. Now there's going to be number 5, run crank. ECM power TRN, which is a 20 amp. Hey, what the heck? What's going on here? TCM crank, 19. TCM crank. Rec run crank, number 20. Okay, cool. This, number 9, ECM power TRN. It's not showing power. Let's get our scan tool and let's check it out. Let's see what we have. I got my Phoenix Max right here. Let's go to all data, SRX. All right, sweet. Now what I want to do is go to diagrams, and then we're going to go to powertrain control module, engine controls, and let's see what powers they have right here. So we see the ECM run crank. That's going to be the first one. So ECM run crank is right there. Normally all our powers are going to be on the top end. There's ECM bat fuse. What controls that is the engine control ignition relay. That's what controls that one fuse right there. Now the question is, where's this engine control relay? Remember, we did see the relays over here. That's relay number 7. Relay number 7 is right there between these 2. Relay number 7 is this one. All right, that's it. What I want to do is we're gonna get one of my leads, and we're gonna check it out and see if we can actually check out the powers and grounds right here. So we got this one right here. Remember, we're on the ground side, and what I want to check is this relay. If we look at our wiring diagram, we have 2 power sides. It's 85 and 30. We gotta check out both of those. On the relay, we have, which is gonna be 4 legs. 1, 2, 3, 4. What we're doing is we're using 85 and 86, which convert 30 full power to 87. So it has to close those pins. We have a power on 85, ground on 86. When those contacts close, we send power from 30 to 87. What is gonna be our command? If we look right here, yellow wire is command. We're just gonna follow it. Command is gonna be 72. Okay, so the PCM is commanding this on. What the heck? Now the question is, do we actually have the powers that are supposed to turn this on going to the PCM? And then do we have the grounds to really turn it on? We do have our PCM right here. How about we remove this stuff right here, make sure that we're getting all the powers and grounds going to it so we can all be happy and sing kumbaya. What I'm gonna do right here, I'm gonna remove these tops right here, and then we're gonna look at those powers that we do have. Remember, I think we had like 3 fuses. Let's make sure that those powers are actually making it to this. A long time ago, I had a video with the GM. A module wasn't communicating because it had a wake-up signal. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm saying that because right here is a wake-up signal. And basically that wake-up signal is telling the PCM, hey, wake up. And it sends like a voltage, 12 volts. Let's figure out which one is X1. I think this is gonna be X1, X2, X3. These powers that we have, the ECM bat right here, which is red and brown. Battery voltage, run crank. So we have 2 right there, violet and green. 5-volt reference 2, they don't forget about that. I've seen a lot that would cause that problem. Let's check those out. So we have some powers. Oh, there's a ground. Okay, cool. So that's on X2. Most likely in the middle, so we gotta see which one is X1, and another ground on X3, a black and white. Let's just check out our powers and grounds. Let's do that and then go from there. Right now what I want to check, powers, grounds, wake up, and see where we get right there. To do this, I think we pop this off, pull these little tabs right here. Oh, easy. Make sure as well when you're doing this, check for any broken pins. You know, that's gonna be an important thing to do. Check for broken pins, bent pins, and something like that. And to me, these pins look pretty good, and then we can kind of see which one is X1 and X3. I can tell you this, X1 doesn't have a ground, X2 has a ground, if I'm not mistaken. The 7.3 is going to be the big one. I think that's a power coming from the main relay. Yeah, X1 is the violet and dark blue, which is right here. All the other ones have ground, as you can see. Violet and dark blue is the power that comes from these ignition relay. So let's do our checks real quick. Let's go get a back probe. That's gonna be the most important thing. I don't wanna pierce it from the front or anything like that. So let me go get a back probe and then we can go from there. All right, so we have our back probe right here. What I wanna do is we're gonna start off with our grounds real quick. Hook this up to power, touch our ground. And as you can see, we do have our grounds. So now we have to find our grounds. If I'm not mistaken, they were on 2 different legs on the big wires, black and white. So we can go here, look at that, and go here and look at that. All right, sweet. So now we do have grounds, and now we have to check out our powers. So to go do that, we have to move this on the power side, or on the ground side, sorry, and test our powers. So if we remember, this one didn't have too many powers. It just had a run, crank, ignition voltage, and a battery voltage. To do this test, I recommend having the key on position, and this is gonna be pin number 51 and 52 on X1. Remember, X1 is the one that has a purple, so purple right here. Right here, there's numbers. So we got 53 right here. If we go backwards, 51 should be right there, which 52 is right here in 51. 52 is gonna be red and brown, which I can clearly see red and brown right here. Let's check our powers. There you go. Let's check out the other one. There you go. A while back, I made a video with the express fan. It almost kicked my butt, but out of that video, we found out that there is a wake-up signal. Wake-up signal is the one that wakes up the module, says, hey, wake up. That's pin number 70 on the X1. Pin 70, violet and yellow. 70 is right here. I see violet and yellow. And there you go. So we have powers, grounds, wake-up signal. When I was going through this wiring diagram, I've had plenty of vehicles or videos too as well. I can put them all right here where a 5-volt reference caused a problem. To test this 5-volt reference, we have to put everything back on together. We just can't use a test light because the test light is not gonna be sufficient to know if there's a good 5-volt reference. Remember, powers, grounds, wake-up signal. Let me check this 5-volt reference. If that is there, then we can start looking at communication lines. This actually came in out over here. So to do this, let's put everything back on, but we gotta find our 5-volt reference, and I see that there's a couple 5-volt references here, but I don't want to get something that's going to be too outside. So I want to get something on the corners because it's going to be hard trying to dig in here and back probe. So I do see one that's on 14. It's red and white. If we look right here, number 1's right here. So we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Red and white's right there. Let's get our multimeter, hook all this stuff up, make sure that the key's on position, and see what we get from there. Let's back probe this right here, and let's see if we have a 5-volt reference. So we're gonna ground this. We're just gonna make sure that this is reading. Bam, 13 volts. And what we're gonna do is hook this up right here. Y'all see that? That is reading 1 volt. What the heck is going on? This is not fun because now we got to find all the 5-volt reference sensors and start disconnecting, because it has powers and grounds and so on. It should theoretically have a 5-volt reference. You know what I want to do? I have a fuse buddy. I'm going to put the fuse buddy straight into that fuse, the ECM, and then see if we get a 5-volt reference. Let's go get this fuse buddy and let me check it out. I got a fuse buddy, jumper, and a alligator clip. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove this 20 amp fuse. Oh, where'd I get these pliers? Okay, cool. So put this sucker in there, put this in here. This light should light whenever we put power to it. That's all sparks and stuff, but nothing happened. You see the check engine light's on? No, absolutely nothing. Pretty sure it's still dead. Well, there's no 5-volt reference. Why am I wasting my time? We can take this off. Man, I thought that was gonna be kind of cool. That would wake up something. But if there's no 5-volt reference, and nothing's gonna happen. Probably gonna do the montage of just removing stuff one by one and then going from there. I know from top of my head it's probably gonna be a AC pressure sensor, a fuel rail pressure sensor. I think it's gonna be the master flow sensor, crank sensors, APP sensor, all that good stuff. So I'm gonna grab my other camera and we're just gonna go from one to another until we see what happens. Let's see what happens. I don't know.